Hey mathematicians, it's JP with Geeky Teachy. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use grid method long division using a 4-digit dividend with a 0 in it and a 2-digit divisor. So notice that I've already turned my paper 90 degrees so that the lines in my paper are going vertically. Today we're going to be dividing 7,809 by 25. So in order to figure out how many boxes I'm going to need, I need to count the digits in my dividend. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 digits in my dividend. So I'm going to need 4 boxes for my grid method. I really like to use the blue lines on my paper to make sure my boxes are nice and neat. And I prefer to do 3 columns for each box. I find that 3 columns is really all you need to do your addition and subtraction. You don't need too much more space than that, and anything less than 3 really kind of gets crowded. So once we have our boxes drawn, we're going to move our digits down into their respective places. So we're going to take our thousands place, our 7, put it in the first box, our 8 in the second box, 0 in the third, and 9 in the last box. So notice that each of my digits are in the farthest right-hand column of each box. My divisor is going to stay outside of my grid just as it would for standard algorithm long division. So before I get started with dividing, I need to do my multiples of 25 as well as my long division steps. So I'm going to put my multiples of 25 off to the side here. So even when I'm listing my multiples, I like to use those columns just to make sure that my place values stay lined up. So now that I have my multiples, I can come up and write my steps for my long division process. I like to use the Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers regularly? So divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring up, and repeat my steps. So now that I have my multiples and my long division steps, I can go ahead and start dividing. So I'm only going to be looking at this first box when I start. So I need to ask myself, how many times can 25 divide into 7? Well, looking at our list of multiples, 25 cannot divide into 7, so I'm going to put a 0 in my quotient. After I divide, I'm going to multiply. 25 times 0 is 0. After I multiply, I'm going to subtract. 7 minus 0 is 7. Then I'm going to check. Is my remainder of 7 smaller than my divisor of 25? If it is, I can go ahead and bring that digit up into my next box to create my new dividend of 78. So now I'm going to repeat my steps, and I'm only dividing into the second box. So I'm going to see how many times 25 can divide into 78. So if I look at my list of multiples, 1, 2, 3 times is as many times as I can fit 25 into 78. After I divide, I'm going to multiply. 3 times 25 is 75. After I multiply, I'm going to subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. 7 minus 7 is 0. After I subtract, I'm going to check. Is my remainder of 3 smaller than my divisor of 25? If it is, then I can go ahead and bring that 3 up to create a new dividend of 30. So now I'm going to repeat my steps of division. I'm only dividing into this third box, into this 30. So I need to ask myself, how many times can 25 divide into 30? 25 can only go into 30 one time. So after I divide, I'm going to multiply. 1 times 25 is 25. After I multiply, I'm going to subtract. So I can't subtract 5 from 0. 10 minus 5 is 5. 2 minus 2 is 0. After I subtract, I'm going to check. Is my remainder of 5 smaller than 25? If it is, then I can go ahead and bring that 5 up to create my new dividend of 59. So now I'm going to repeat my division steps, only looking at this last box. So I need to ask myself, how many times did 25 divide into 59? So I can only divide in 2 times. After I divide, I'm going to multiply. 2 times 25 is 50. 59 minus 50, 9 minus 0 is 9, 5 minus 5 is 0. So then I'm going to check, is my remainder of 9 smaller than 25? If it is, I can bring it up, but I don't have any more boxes to divide into. So this 9 becomes our remainder, giving us a quotient of 312 with a remainder of 9. I can check my work by doing 312 times 25. Once I get that product, I can add 9, and this answer should match my original dividend.